This new Logitech G Pro X Superlight's definitely the lightest wireless gaming mouse that I've ever gotten my hands on. As far as what you get inside the box, we've got the mouse with some plastic film covering nice big PTFE pads on the bottom. There's a removable puck that opens up to a compartment where you can store the USB dongle if you want. This is the charging cable that it comes with, and I didn't realize we were still living in 1999. It's just a basic rubber cable with a custom micro USB connector. I get why they use this. The idea is that these prongs fit into the front of the mouse and make a nice strong connection that's not going to wiggle or come loose on you when you're playing with the mouse plugged in. But I think it's pretty unnecessary because USB-C is like the gold standard these days of connections. It's on all sorts of different gaming mice, a ton of which I have a lot of experience with, and I can tell you I've never once had a cable come loose or pull out of the mouse on me when I'm gaming with it plugged in with a USB-C connector. It just doesn't happen, so I think this is a problem that didn't really need solving by Logitech, even though they did it anyways. It comes with a replacement puck that you can use in place of the stock plain plastic one, and it's completely covered in PTFE, so you can use this to increase your low friction surface area. There's a set of pre-cut grip tape. It's nice and soft and rubbery feeling, and it's just peel and stick, so it's really easy to install. We get a little Logitech G-Swag in here, and that's pretty normal with all of Logitech's mice these days. This is warranty and safety information along with a small quick start guide, and this is the USB wireless receiver dongle that goes into your computer or device. It's similar in size to other flagship wireless gaming mice like the Roccat Kone Pro Air and also the Razer Viper Ultimate, but they got the weight down well below both of those mice, and it's really noticeable. According to my scale, it weighs around 62 grams, which is absurdly light. But the crazy thing is that they got the weight down that low without going to a perforated or honeycomb shell. This thing's solid all the way around, and the build quality feels really good. It's strong and sturdy and feels really well made. It's actually super impressive considering how little material must be in this build. It's like a marvel of structural mouse engineering. The design, in terms of how it looks, it's just basic and plain, really. Curves are all smooth and gradual, there's no grooves for your thumb or your fingers, and there's no RGB lighting. Logitech designed it around pure performance, and the only thing adding RGB would have done is drain the battery quicker. So they decided to leave it out, and I think that's perfectly fine because this thing is targeting like the highest level esports gameplay where RGB is just not necessary. There's two buttons on the left side, but nothing on the right, so that's not going to be good news for left-handed gamers. They sit close to the body and they don't really stick out too much, but the placement's pretty much perfect. It kept me from making any accidental presses, but at the same time it was still really easy to find them when I needed to. Being such a generic shape, it's really easy to grip with pretty much any grip style. I use a fingertip grip style and it was perfectly fine for that. The only thing that I did notice is that because the high point is more in the middle, it feels a little bit uncomfortable to me personally if I try and use a palm grip. I like the hump to be a little bit more towards the back for that grip style, but that's just a personal preference thing, and I really think that the generic shape makes it perfect for really any grip style that you want to throw at it. The bottom's got loads of PTFE contact surfaces, and like I mentioned earlier, you can swap out that stock plastic puck for the one with extra PTFE to really maximize that glide surface. Logitech's got their best performing hero sensor in here. Its max acceleration's over 40G and it can track over 400 IPS. Resolution starts at 100 and goes all the way up to 25,600, which I think is insane and kind of unnecessary. I use 700, so this thing basically has 25,000 more than I would ever need. But the important thing is it's adjustable in 50 DPI increments from the bottom all the way up to the top, so that really helps when you're fine-tuning the sensitivity for your playstyle. Tearing it up in Doom Eternal was awesome. The Superlight easily kept up with a fast gameplay without any liftoff issues, no lag, no skipping. This hero sensor is simply one of the best that's out there on the market. I like the scroll wheel that they put on this thing as well. It's grippy and it's got a good amount of tension, so I found that I could press straight down on it to activate the button, but without scrolling all over the place by accident. The primary buttons carry a very neutral shape, and I like that a lot more than buttons with deep grooves or curved surfaces. Now, unfortunately, I have no idea what types of switches are powering these primary click buttons, because Logitech doesn't seem to disclose that information anywhere. I didn't see it in the user's manual, it's not on their website, and I did some Googling, and it seems like it's just, I don't know, they're not telling us for some reason. And that's unfortunate because based on some of the comments that I saw on some of my other Logitech review videos, I know that a lot of people have questions about switches because there's been instances in the past where people have reported double clicking issues on some old Logitech mice. So it would have been nice to have been able to definitively tell you, hey, it's using this brand new type of switch that's nothing like what we saw before, but unfortunately I can't do that. But what I can say is I've been using it for a while as my main mouse for testing purposes, and I've had no issues like that whatsoever. In fact, no issues at all in terms of performance with any part of this mouse. It's just a top tier performer as far as I'm concerned. Now let's do a quick click test so that you can hear what this mouse sounds like. Battery life's rated at 70 hours, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to achieve that because there's really no variables that can affect the battery life at all, like RGB lighting or different types of wireless connections like Bluetooth versus 2.4G wireless or something like that. Just make sure you remember to keep it charged so that you don't get stuck using it with that mediocre rubber cable that it comes with. It does support wireless charging with Logitech PowerPlay, so that is one way to get around having to use that cable altogether, but it's really not a cheap accessory and it's only available in one size. The wireless connection uses Logitech's LIGHTSPEED technology, and it's excellent. LIGHTSPEED was the first wireless system that convinced me to switch over from wired mice. It's just as good as any hardwired connection that I've ever used, and it's really easy. You just plug in the USB receiver and forget about it. It's fast, it's reliable, and it never let me down. The G Pro X Superlight's an impressive wireless gaming mouse in a lot of different ways. The fact that they got the weight down as much as they did without compromising the build quality is amazing. And I mean, it's a professional level Logitech gaming mouse, and the performance is definitely there in all aspects. The big questions are, what the hell kind of switches is it using, and is there the potential to have issues down the line? And the answer is, I have absolutely no idea. But what I will say is, based on my own experience testing this mouse over the last little while, I have not experienced any issues with the switches. So let's just hope it stays that way. The downsides are that not so flexible rubber cable and ridiculous micro USB connection in 2021. And also the fact that it's a pretty minimalist and plain looking design for a $150 mouse. And that might bother some people that really care about what their gaming peripherals look like. But if raw performance is what you're after and you really like lightweight gaming mice, then the G Pro X Superlight is a top tier performer and you really shouldn't hesitate to use it as your main gaming mouse.